Hi, I'm Benno.
And I'm Robin, and you're listening to Inside PAKETH, a podcast produced by the Unit for Teaching and Learning. In this episode, we're taking a closer look at curriculum reform at the Department of Architecture and at what it means to design a curriculum that doesn't just get revised, but stays alive after the process.
A central part of this initiative has been a participatory and competence-based approach for the curriculum revision. And that's exactly what the interview is about. I talked to Vera Kaps, who is both the educational developer at the department and an architect.
Wonderful. Let's listen to your conversation.
What was the main goal of your degree program initiative?
Our goal is to create a curriculum that stays alive even after the revision process is completed. We achieve this by making the people, everyone who teaches and learns at the ARC, designs the curriculum. Professors, assistants, students, and administrative staff need to negotiate how architecture should be learned in the future. And hence, so we as a CURREV core team design a process that is open for appropriation.
Right. CURREV is short for curriculum revision. Could you tell us more about the concept of appropriation?
Appropriation is a term that comes from architecture. So you appropriate a space. This means you make the space your own, you design it, and through this you also care for this space. And this is very much the same for a curriculum. You can appropriate a curriculum. That means, so the more people appropriate the curriculum, the more they implement the changes, and hence the curriculum has the possibility to stay alive.
Vera, you mentioned the CURREV process several times. What were the key principles behind how it was designed?
To us, 5 main features were really important for that curriculum revision process. First, the process needs to be transparent. This means it needs to map out very clearly goals and milestones for the decision-taking process. Secondly, the CURREV process needs to be incremental. This means previous results, findings, and documents are in dialogue with a new proposal. Third, the CURREV process is interdisciplinary. Architecture per se is interdisciplinary, and therefore it was really important for us to include all these different disciplines, so that no competencies would be missing in the later study plan or the program. Fourth, the CURREV process is open-ended. This means it does not stop with written document, namely our regulation, but that it has the possibility to stay alive and would keep on going ever. And the last feature is that the CURREV process is participatory. We included all disciplines, but we also included all members, meaning all stands from the department, professors, assistants, administrative staff, and students.
What motivated the shift toward a competence-based orientation in the first place?
When I started working at the department, I was surprised how little the different chairs and also the different courses communicated with each other. Alignment was very poor, so people, especially in the bachelor, didn't know which course would be taught next to their own course or what had come before. Competence orientation gives great opportunities to align the curriculum better.
And how did you translate these ideas into something concrete?
So we basically put the competencies into the center of our curriculum. This means from the competencies, we obviously develop the qualification profile, as everyone does, but we also base our study plan on it, our assessment framework, and later develop the courses through this. For developing the different competencies, we developed competency chart because we needed a tool to somehow visualize these different competencies. In the very beginning, we decided that our study plan was not based on our institutes anymore, but within 4 streams. And hence, we also based the competency chart onto these 4 streams to very clearly dedicate competencies with certain disciplines, fields. The other tool that we developed then was the competency compass. So the competency compass, it's a visual tool which firstly serves as a communication tool for teachers. It clearly explains what students learn, no? They also communicate to other departments, other courses, what is learned in the course, no? So they basically shows what they teach. Secondly, it's an assessment tool. It visually tracks the learning path and the progress that students take within one course. It basically looks like a compass leading or showing into different directions and combining a set of competencies. And then thirdly, it also is a tool to compare between different courses. We use it especially for our project-based learning setups, namely for our studios, design studios.
Looking back, what was most challenging?
We've been working on the revision process since May 23. So it's a very long time, and keeping the momentum was very difficult partly, also for ourselves, staying motivated in the process. But I'm very, very happy that we managed until now. We introduced the bachelor program, so that revision is partly over and we start with the monitoring.
Could you tell us about the impact you're seeing today?
I think all teachers have much more knowledge about the different curricula. And I think that has a huge impact on their course to actually being able to align their course to the rest of the curriculum. In the beginning, we had a huge workshop to really identify which topics and which challenges we really want to tackle within the revision process. And based on that workshop, we first identified the topics and then built working groups around these topics. And I think that helped really to boost the beginning or be a booster in the beginning of the revision to include everyone. And still today, people refer back to this day. It's extremely nice. And I think that was a huge step that we could achieve already, that people might know much more about the wider curriculum and other courses.
So Benno, how was that for you?
What stands out to me from the conversation is that competence-based reform isn't just about frameworks or documents, it's about creating shared ownership, alignment, and ongoing dialogue.
Nicely put. That was all for this episode of Inside PAKETH, and see you next time.